YouTube. Welcome to Homestead in a Box. My name is Leah and I'm super thankful to have you. If you're not new here, welcome back. And I know I took a week off, and so I figured the best way to come back is with our very first harvest of the season. In today's video, I'm going to be harvesting the onions that I planted and discussing the difference of an onion seed, an onion set, and an onion transplant, and explain why it's actually very important to know the difference between those, save you from a pretty hard lesson that I learned recently. So come with me and let's get in the garden. All right, so here are my onions, and I'm going to be harvesting all of these bags today and putting some more onion sets in them, basically because I just recently learned something pretty interesting about onions. I learned that you have onion seed, onion set, and onion transplant. And these are actually onion sets, and I was under the impression they were gonna grow into larger onions. However, with doing some research, I have found that these are not gonna turn into onion bulbs. They can get large, but they're just not gonna be the big onions that I thought that they were going to turn into. So these have been in here for about 75 days to 80 days, and I'm actually going to harvest them and make onion powder with them. Onions are a biennial, meaning they require 2 years to actually produce any vegetables. So I planted these onions thinking they were going to be bulbs, and they're not, because I planted onion sets, which is, an onion set is a bulb that has been pulled prematurely and has sat through the winter, and then you're putting it in the ground. And a lot of people plant those mainly for the green leaves of them. As you see, the tops of these onions, there's a lot of tops to them. So I have started some onion seed, and from what I've read, you can start onion seed, let it bulb, and then plant it, and you should be able to harvest it that fall. Basically, your bulb just has to feel like it has been gone through winter. I have not personally ever tried this. I am going to be trying it with the Gladstone onions that I have planted. So we will see how that turns out. These are the Gladstones that I started from seed. So we'll see if they do anything this year, or if I actually end up having to wait until next year to get something off of them. Although the onions did not turn out in bulbs like I thought they were, I'm still really grateful for my very first harvest of the season, because honestly, when I planted all of this stuff, I had no faith in myself that any of it was going to grow. Especially planting things in feed sacks. I had no idea. I read books, I watched other YouTubers, things like that, but I just didn't think it was going to happen to me. However, everything turned out really great. So you can grow food in feed sacks, especially onions. I'm gonna get these other onion sets planted, that way I can harvest them within the next 60 days or so. When I decided to plant onions in feed sacks, I wasn't really for sure if it was gonna work out how I had wanted. So I am thankful that it did work out. So I am gonna go back in and sow some more onions. Onions like to be planted about 1 to 1.5 inches deep, about 4 inches apart. Some of these already have sprouts on them, so those are the ones I'm going to be planting first. If you're wondering how to grow onions, it's not very hard. You just need something that can hold some soil. It needs to be decent draining soil. I've just put holes in these bags. Being a first-time gardener, there's always things that you wonder if it'll work, and really the only way to find out if it works is to try it. So I am thankful that I did try it, and I am thankful that I got these onions. They will make a great onion powder. I figure, who doesn't need a good carrot update? Y'all know I was very worried about not being able to grow carrots, and so far so good. So now that we know the difference between an onion seed, a start, and a transplant, and I have these onions planted, I'm going to get off of here for today and get busy mixing up some compost tea for the garden. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. It really does mean a great big deal to me to have you all here. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel. Any type of support is appreciated. I'm sending you good vibes as always. I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I will see you later in the week.